What is up, guys? Welcome to the ThinkComputers Weekly Tech Podcast. This is episode 350, and our podcast is brought to you by Amazon. If you go to thinkcomputers.org/Amazon and happen to purchase something that gets the podcast, keeps us going, huh, Ryan? What do you think?
Yeah, apparently we keep doing it. So
yeah,
definitely.
Of course, I have Ryan here, my co-host. It's episode 350, man. That seems like a milestone. Is it a milestone?
It does. It does. I mean, we hit 300 about a year ago or so, right?
Yeah.
And 350. Be at 400. We'll be at 500 at some point.
Hopefully, yeah. Right? It's kind of cool. People are like, my friends from California, they're like, oh, I saw that you do a podcast. Like, have you been doing it for a while? And I was like, yeah, like this week was episode 350, so I guess so.
yeah. It's been a while.
Yes.
Well, I saw somebody on Facebook who, like, I follow them, but like I don't listen to them anymore. And they used to have like an actual radio show, and they celebrated like episode, I don't know, like 3,000 or something, right, of their podcast.
That's great.
And but then I was like, well, they do one every day.
Yeah,
so I mean, that's like racks up so much faster. Obviously.
I think Joe Rogan is like in the 2000s or something like that for his podcast, because he does like, I don't know how often he does his podcast, but more than once a week. We do once a week. Yeah. So we've been doing it for a while, but yeah, happy to be here. It's another week. I got a lot of reviews done, working on some really cool stuff. As Ryan says, I don't know if you guys can hear, but it sounds like there's street racing outside.
Yeah, you got Fast and the Furious going on right outside your window.
Yeah, no, this road out front of where I'm sitting. So my apartment,
you always say,
my apartment faces the road, and there's a stretch of road where there's like no cops, and it's kind of like by itself. So people do just speed, and like people race on this road all the time. So, but yeah, so you can say, I don't know if you can hear that. It sounds like
there they go.
Yeah, they're flying. Or there's just people who just like, oh, I got to get home from work. I got to drive really fast.
Right,
and that's kind of
fly down the road.
Yeah, they fly down the road. So yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised, because I think California has some law about you can't have your car can't be like a certain, like, can't be loud or something.
Noise. Yeah, noise.
Yeah, they have these weird noise laws. But in any case, we are podcasting, so hopefully there's not any crazy street races going on during the whole podcast. But yeah, guys, if you do want to follow along, we do have our show notes page, which is right here, that has everything that we're going to be talking about this week. Some pretty cool products, different products, more like kind of consumer electronic home devices, but both that are extremely useful. And I think not even if you're a tech person, if you're just like a normal everyday person, both of these products are definitely pretty useful. So the first one that I want to talk about is a product that I had my eye on, and then this company just like emailed me out of the blue, and it kind of just worked out. So this is the Hollyland Lark C1, which is a wireless microphone system for your iPhone. Now, the cool thing about it is that, we're making tons of content with our mobile devices, right? I mean, you're making stuff for social media. So, Instagram Reels, TikTok, and now like YouTube Shorts are getting really big as well. And for a lot of people, they're just creating that content with their phone, which is, it just works pretty easily there. So, but the problem is that, especially if you're recording with a phone, doing something like an interview, or even doing some type of content where you're walking away from the camera, obviously the further away you get from the camera, the worse the audio gets. And this is a way to solve that. So it's a pretty simple little device. It comes It comes with a really nice hard shell case. It has a charging case, much like you would get with, like I said, AirPods or wireless earbuds. So the microphones are in there. You do get the dead cats that go on it if it's windy, and then you get a charging cable. And it's, like I said, it's super, super small. So you can see the receiver in there, and then you get 2 microphones with this kit. You know, so I kind of, like I said, it's just super, super simple. And this whole charging case just basically can fit in your pocket. I mean, you saw how small it was at CES because we used it at CES.
No, they're they're tiny. Every component of this is tiny.
Yeah, super, super small. Somebody in our chat says first timer.
Right.
Team blue, red.
Team blue, red. I'm guessing blue Intel, red AMD, or Apple. Like, so definitely. You've got an Apple device, but you've typically been Team Intel, like Team Blue, for the most part in your build. Most of your builds.
Well, I mean, my new build's AMD.
New build's AMD though, right? Yeah. So
yeah,
and I've always been an AMD fan, so we're a mix.
Yeah, I would say. I assume that's what they're asking. That's Seb in the chat. Yeah, I would say Team Blue for most of my builds, but this new build is Ryzen. So I had all the parts too, so it kind of made sense. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think AMD has done a lot of good things lately. So it always goes back and forth though. And it all depends on your use case. I think the biggest thing definitely comes to your use case. Now, as far as Apple devices, the only Apple device that I have is my iPhone. Beyond that, I
had an iPad.
I do have an iPad. I forgot about that.
Man, it's so great you forget about it. And you have an iWatch, an Apple Watch.
Oh yeah, but these don't count as like computing device. These don't count as computing devices. I know. For like an actual, like I don't have like an Apple laptop or a desktop computer or a Mac Mini. But yeah, apparently I have 3 Apple devices, but it's just because they all work together. Like the watch obviously works with my phone, and then I got a really good deal on an iPad, and the only time I really use it is when I'm on the plane and I'm watching a movie. You know what I mean? Because it uses far less battery power than like a normal laptop does, and it's just easier to take with me, if that makes sense. But yeah,
absolutely.
But yeah, thanks for coming in. It's good to have new people here in the live stream for sure. But back to this device, which does work with an Apple device.
Exactly.
So here you can see the receiver, and you can see a Lightning connector. So this is made specifically for an iPhone. That plugs into your bottom of your iPhone, and then you get 2 microphones. So this is really great. Having 2 microphones means you can mic up a guest and do an interview. We did that at CES with this specific device. It's just super, super simple. But having 2 microphones is great. And like, as you can see, they are very, very small. They have a clip design, so you just clip them right on. Again, you can just see how small they are, you know, and there's a clip at the bottom, and they clip right on to yourself or whoever you're miking up to do the interview. They charge in the case itself, but say for some reason you forget this charging case, each one of them has a Type-C connection, so you can charge them outside of the case if you forget that case or something along those lines. Obviously, the receiver itself doesn't need to be charged because you're plugging it into your iPhone. Now, some people might wonder, well, if it's plugged into my Lightning connector, what if my iPhone's on 2 or 3%? I need to do an interview. There's actually a pass-through, so you can connect a Lightning cable to it and then charge your iPhone as well. So you're not necessarily losing that port per se when you're using this device. So pretty simple, small little package, easy to take with you. I had this in my camera bag when we were running around CES last month. It was just super, super easy to use. Here you can see how it plugs into the bottom of your phone, the 2 microphones. And what's really great about this is as soon as you plug in that receiver, it automatically connects to the microphones. So there's no pairing process or anything like that. It just works. And again, running around CES, just being able to pull this out, plug in the receiver, the microphones automatically connect, you're good to go. Just like I said, it just worked really, really easily. Now there is an app that you can get for your phone. It will show you your levels, your battery levels as well. So maybe one of the microphones is getting low. You can kind of check on that. You can set your noise cancellation either weak or strong, and then the volume as well. That's the one thing that isn't on these is if you plug them in, it will there's LEDs that will show you that you're connected, but there's no way to monitor your levels, but you can do it obviously in the app. But I didn't really feel the need for any type of adjustment as far as I left all the settings on the noise cancellation to strong, the volume to medium, and did the recordings, and they were fine. We have a video of an interview we did at CES that you guys can check out. And I did a long form audio sample of these microphones if you want to check that out as well. But again, for anybody creating content, whether it's, us doing tech content or Ryan does comic book content, or if you're doing a cooking channel where, you're moving around and stuff, and you don't want you don't want your audience to hear your pan splatter and stuff all around. You have your microphone up here, so it's just better audio. I think these are just great. And again, they work. They're super simple. It's not complicated to get them connected. And like I said, they just work really, really well. Now, these would be sort of comparative to the Rode Video Mic Goes. Is that what they're called? Those are or something. The Go Wireless or whatever they are. I have the first gen of those, which work great. We use those for all of our other videos. That plugs in specifically to a 3.5 millimeter connection, on your camera. But the main features that this has that some of the other more expensive wireless microphones do have is a lot of those do have a live little LCD that shows you your levels. Again, you don't get that here. You also don't get, especially the new Rode ones will record live on the microphone itself. So if you're recording something, that recording gets sent back to your camera or to your phone. On the Rode ones, it will record to the actual microphone itself as a backup recording. Again, for most people, it's not needed, but those are the only things I feel like this microphone kit does not have. I love the charging case, and the charging case can recharge both of the microphones 3 times too. So again, you could be out all day using these pretty much with the charging case. And again, charging case runs out of juice. You of course can just plug these in with a Type-C connection as well. They're $179.99 right now. I gave them 9 out of 10 and recommended. Just again, if you're creating content with a mobile device, and again, this one is specific for iPhone, but they do make one for Android, which I believe is Type-C. And I do believe, and Ryan and I were talking about this, the Type-C one will plug into something like a action camera that has a Type-C connection.
Right. And I'm actually looking at buying the Android version of this because I want to try it with my phone, even though my phone's not on the fully supported list. It's on there a bit, and I want to try it with my DJI Osmo Action. So I've got a couple use cases for this where I want to try it out myself. So I'm thinking about picking up the Android version.
I believe it does work with the Osmo Action.
They showed 2 of them. I'm not sure that it works with the first model, but I think the only reason that it didn't work for the I don't know. I'll have to look. I'm gonna give it a shot, I think. And
I mean, just back. with Amazon, you have the 30-day return. So
right.
So I think again, definitely a different product for us to review, but it definitely came in handy. I mean, doing interviews at CES, you'd have to mic somebody up and run a cable and do all that kind of stuff, and this just makes it super simple. And then again, comparatively to other things that are out there, like the Rode mics are $329. And these are $179. So you're definitely saving some money there too. So definitely really, really cool. Seb, who commented earlier, also talking about NVIDIA Broadcast. He said, NVIDIA Broadcast eye contact function is pretty interesting weapon for greater viewer interaction or content creators who read scripts. Mm-hmm. I would say yes, but you can tell it's fake.
You can if you're looking real close, but I'm guessing if you have it in a Zoom meeting and you've got a lot of people, a meeting with 15, 20 people in it, you could probably get away with it, and most people wouldn't,
because it's an artificial picture. It's not your eye. It's an artificial.
No, it's not your eye. They do a pretty decent job though of I thought it looked all right. If you're really looking at it, staring at it, you can tell. But when you're mixed in a meeting and you're not the main presenter, right? You'd never want to do it as the main presenter anyways, because in that period you want to be like focused in on it most of the time, right? But yeah,
you're just sleeping. Cool. You're sleeping there in your meeting like
this,
and you have it turned on.
There you go.
Now, I wonder if it works if your eyes are closed.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think it works that way, but but yeah, I think it's cool, and I think it's something that maybe in the future you could have it where you could take a photo of your eyes, and then that would be re-represented on the screen. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting use cases for it. It's just something cool. And again, we always talk about this when it comes to graphics cards, but it's like with broadcast, along with everything else that NVIDIA offers, that is their value add-on to buying an NVIDIA RTX graphics card, right? You get I don't use NVIDIA broadcast. I probably should these days because you could hear the road out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like things, again, part of that software that you get is all these different features that you can use for, again, streaming, doing podcasts like we're doing, a bunch of other things. So
I love it. Definitely. I've always got it on. So
yeah. I think I need to turn it back. I had some issues with it early on, and that's why I turned it off. So maybe next podcast I'll turn it on and see if I don't have those issues.
Yeah.
And it might have been, the issue might have been because my graphics card was getting hot, and obviously new setup that I have here, it doesn't get hot anymore. So that could be the issue. Moving on, we have another home device, which I didn't think I would use this. I was like, I'm going to review it, and then I'm just going to put it back in the box. But I actually use this every day, and I'll tell you why. So this is the Lenovo Smart Clock Essential with Alexa built in. Basically, it's a clock that works with Amazon Alexa. It's much like one of their Echo devices. So you can give it commands, like you would any of your Echo devices, tell it what to do, have it set an alarm for you, ask what the weather is, all that kind of stuff. But then there's a clock. So it's an LED clock. It's not some crazy LCD or something like that. It's a simple, LED clock. Let's get pictures of it turned on here so you guys can see. But it's a simple, like I said, little LED clock here. It is going to tell you what day of the week it is. And this little icon is for the weather. So what the weather is. And then you can either switch between, you can see here, there's a decibel meter on it for some reason. That will give you the decibel. And then you can change it where it gives you the humidity as well as the temperature. And that's why I use it. So again,
is that the temperature like where it's at, or the weather temperature?
That's a temperature like where you are based on the location that you put in the app. So, like if you're not familiar with Amazon Alexa apps, or Amazon Alexa products, you can say, like in this app that you kind of see right here, you can set, this is the location where this is at. You can put in either, you can do it vaguely, you can put in a zip code or a city, or you can put the exact address that it's at, and it will give you the weather based on where you are. So the reason I use this so much is, one, I like having like a clock. As much as you can just, ask Alexa what time it is, I just roll over.
Nice.
Yeah, I just roll over and see it. And the second thing is that, inside we have either air conditioning or heating, and I don't know what it's like outside, but I can just glance over at this and see the temperature. And if it's below a certain temperature, I know that I'm going to go on a run in the morning or go to the gym. I can see, am I going to wear joggers or am I going to wear shorts? It's really that simple for me. Like, that's why I really use this device, but it is very useful. Now, beyond those couple little things, that's all this device really can do. It's just a clock that has Amazon Alexa in it, and it's a speaker. So you can play music. You can, again, it will talk to you and do different things like that, right? But I think, and again, it's priced the same as Amazon's Echo Dot 5, which is just like the round little speaker. So you're getting more with this device. You're getting a clock. You're getting some display of some type of information, right? And it's the same price. So I feel like you're getting more out of this device. I think it looks pretty cool. It's kind of has this fabric design. This is the red version. There's a blue version as well. So it's just something that's, like I said, it's just useful to me. And And again, it's the same price. So, and again, that little round speaker from the Echo Dot, it's just a speaker. You have no display on it. So for the same price, you can get this with the display. Now, if you're not a fan of the LED display, of course, you can kind of go to like the Echo Show, which has a full LCD that will display a lot more. Now, that's going to be $85. So again, I think for being the same price as the Echo Dot, it's a cool little product. It's super simple to set up. You know, it just works, and it's super simple.
Does Lenovo make one that has like an LCD like the shows version?
Did let's see. Let me see if I can bring one up. I know they did, but that was
we were talking before the show, and I saw this at Best Buy today, which is kind of funny. And I really liked it, and because we have a original Echo Show, we have one in the kitchen, and then we have one like in our bedroom, and it's right next to me. And I would actually rather have one of these next to the bed, because just like you said, it's got the clock there that's always on. I don't have to talk to it, because every now and then it's like the middle of the night and you're like, okay, I want to know the weather, or I need to do something, and you know that response is going to come back from the machine and be so loud because you're playing music earlier in the night or something. I know you can set some of those volume settings for different times, but
let me see if I can find. I'm on the Lenovo website.
These are really cool.
No, because I really don't like the Lenovo website. Like, here I am on the Lenovo website, and it's like Smart Home Essentials, and it's like Philips Hue.
They got Philips stuff, and
like I don't want to. Yeah, and again, I don't
I
think these are like what I was even looking for.
I just want your products.
Yeah, it's weird. So I know they did, because a couple years ago, maybe actually probably like 4 or 5 years ago, they showed us a device that was very much like the Echo Show, but it was made for Google. But I assume they have something like that, right? That has something like that. But like I said, for the same price, I think it's a good product, right? If it was more expensive, then I would say you're not really getting that much. It's just an LED clock, that shows a couple other things. It's not crazy, but it's the same price. I'd rather have the clock, and that's kind of how. Just like I said, I like it. I use it every day, surprisingly. So go ahead and check out that review. We have Technus Corner in the chat. You guys are great. Subbed $699 7950X3D. We'll definitely be talking about that, because that is in our show notes. We got prices for Ryzen 7000X3D series finally, and dates you can pick those up. So we'll definitely be talking about that. But great to see you here in the live chat. It's always good to have people in the live chat. I can't always talk to Ryan.
I mean, you can, but it gets old after a while. I'm sure.
It gets So. But before we get into news, we're going to jump over to Case Mod Friday, and I want to get Ryan's take on this, because this is definitely a different build. And if you guys don't know what Case Mod Friday is, it's where every Friday we feature a case mod or build that's been completed in the community, and of course we put it on the website, and give a shout out to, of course, the builders. So this week we have one called End Zone, and this is from Marco Lamb, and it's sort of like I don't know what you want to call this, because it's not necessarily like, it's like end of the world nuclear disaster type build, because it's not necessarily steampunk, right?
No, yeah, it's not what I would consider a traditional steampunk look and build.
Yeah.
But you wanted to know what I thought of this build?
Yeah.
So every now and then, like, I do sometimes like themed builds, which to me, this is a themed build, right?
Yeah.
It's just not my style.
Not okay.
It's not. I can appreciate the work it took to do this, and they've stuck pretty well with their design look.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. With their theme, it's just not my style. They're pretty few and far between the theme builds that I do like.
Yeah. I like this one. I think that a lot of times we do see theme builds that have this sort of again, end of the world type of.
Mm-hmm. They've pulled things together, scrapped it together, right, to make a thing work, so that they can communicate with the other communities or whatever, right?
Yeah. But I think this one actually is done very well, and just like the little things that you can kind of see on this build and how it's done. And what's interesting is that this is actually a Leo 11 dynamic case. Yeah, that's been taken apart. Just like the attention to detail, like this is like the fake rust and all this. I don't know. I like it. I think it's really good. And he's done another build that we actually featured as well a while back. That was kind of like the same type of theme. So this is really cool. I like this one. Again, shout out to Marco Lamb. We have a link to his builds.gg on here if you want to check it out. And we have, of course, all the photos and all the hardware if you want more information. If you guys want to check out some case mods, all you have to do on the website right here is just go to articles and then Case Mod Friday. And we have a ton, 54 pages and growing of all of this. You know what I mean? So there's just a ton of stuff there, ton of case mods. If you kind of want to, just see what you can do with PC stuff, or if you just want to look at case mods all day, you can definitely go ahead and do that. Now we'll move on to news. And I thought this was fake when I first saw it. I was like, this isn't real. This is something. And we've seen
it's a little extreme.
It's a little extreme. So this picture, which I'll bring up the picture before I change the screen here. So this picture was the picture that I saw, right?
That's the first one you saw?
Yeah.
Of this?
Okay. Of this. And I was like, this doesn't look real. This is a 4-slot graphics card. And and then people are saying that it is indeed, it's NVIDIA, it says NVIDIA over here. And I was like, all right, well, maybe this is because we talked about it previously that we haven't seen a new Titan class card.
Right.
This could be a Titan class card. Interesting,
because you're probably like looking for Photoshop tells. You're like, oh, where's some lines where they didn't do real well on the photoshopping. But yeah,
because we did see some other pictures previously and they were kind of looked Photoshop. This one, it doesn't really look Photoshop, but obviously interesting placement of your connectors here, right? Yeah, because usually your connectors just one row down here and then you have everything, but this is pretty interesting right here. So we see this picture and people are saying that it is indeed, it's a Titan class card. This picture we saw months ago, way before the new year, of the of what this kind of looks like, the cooler looks like. This is an old picture that we had seen for a while that might be what's under the hood of this. And there's the bracket that
bracket is enormous.
Yeah, that it goes on to either an RTX 4090 Ti or a Titan, right?
Right.
Based on this gold, I would say it's a Titan because the Titan's always had the gold, right?
You think it's gold, or you think it's just like it just picked up a color from around? Who knows? Yeah, it does look kind of gold, huh?
I don't know. So this is what we saw, and I was like, yeah, finally we're getting a new Titan. I'm always excited for the best of the best. I want it, right? And it's just crazy to see this heatsink is huge. You know what I mean? 4-slot,
Well, and it looks like they've got it standing up on the floor. And so you're like, okay, their feet are that far down. Like, how long is this thing?
Yeah, that too. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, there's
going
people's feet right there. So yeah, this is a big card. So I saw this. So we obviously wrote the article and we're like, yeah, this could be it, but you don't know. And then a couple days later, those crazy people that track manifests, because that's how we get a lot of this information.
Yeah.
They have a manifest going to India. I think that's how this works. Like it's going to the United States from India, or India going to the United States. In any case, you see this, and if you look right here on the card, you see these numbers, right? This right here. And you see those same numbers right here on the manifest. Right. And again, it says 384-bit, 48 gigabytes GDDR6. And again, you have that same number, test unit.
Yep.
So this looks to be like a test test board or whatever it is for, again, either RTX 4090 or the new Titan RTX. What do you think?
48 gigs. I mean, it's cool. It's exciting. You know, Technus in the chat said they're guessing like $2,500. So
yeah,
that's going to be a no for them. So yeah, this is definitely going to be an expensive card, no doubt about it. I mean, I'm just thinking like, what are your power requirements for this thing? What are your case size requirements?
Yeah.
Who is
you would assume that it's going to be a bigger card than the 4090, and if you haven't seen 4090s, they're huge.
They're enormous.
And you have to wonder too, is this going to be like a lot of the Titans where the previous Titans where you only have the reference model from NVIDIA, right? You don't have AIB models of this as well. And I don't know if we can find what was
I would say that's probably going to be accurate.
The launch price of the original RTX Titan. Let me see if I can find that here. Because, I mean, obviously it's going to be, you would think it would be more expensive than that. So the original, the RTX, the Titan RTX was...
Which was above
20,
a what? A 1080 Ti? Higher than that?
No, it was...
Or do we have that? Go ahead.
So here. The RTX, the Titan RTX, it's been a while, came out in December 2018. Initially priced at $2,500. So that was more than the 2080 Ti at the time. The 2080 Ti at the time was $1,300. So now that we have a 4090 priced at $1,600, do you think this is going to be a $3,000 card?
That seems so expensive.
Oh yeah, of course. But again, what is
I don't know that it'll hit 3.
The RTX 4090 has what, 24 gigs? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's so weird that we don't know these.
Right. Well, yeah. We talk about them and then we move on. And there's so many other things to memorize that, we don't talk, like we said, we talk one-on-one every week.
The 24 gigabytes of GDDR6X. So you're doubling the amount of memory, right? And we don't know what else is going to be inside this card. If it is indeed the Titan, right? Do you think they're going to put out, because we have a 4090, we have a 4080, we have a 4070 Ti currently. Do you think
probably have room to do a 4090 Ti and a Titan?
Yeah, this just looks like a Titan, just by what we've seen of this card, as far as especially that gold that we talked about on it. I think it is a Titan. You know what I mean? I mean, again, there's like this gold right here. It just looks like a Titan.
The only reason I didn't think it was gold was because of the reflection on the back plate and in that first image has kind of a similar color, right? You've got different materials, obviously, so they're going to reflect a little different. But it just, to me, I thought it could have been still a silver shroud. But who knows?
Who knows? We'll see. I'm excited for this. Like I said, I just like seeing monstrosity of graphics cards, and again, like Ryan said, 48 gigabytes on of VRAM is just crazy too.
Yeah, you don't need this for just your everyday gaming card.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll keep you updated when we know more. If there's more leaks, we'll definitely let you guys know on that. We also got some information on the RTX 4070, the non-TI version. It looks like it's kind of popped up in the Tech Power Up GPU database, and we have some information on it. So again, 4070 non-TI model. And this is a colorful card that kind of popped up in the database. It has not the colorful, because colorful is OC'd, but the regular 4070, the non-TI version, has a base clock of 1920 megahertz and boost up to 2475. And the colorful actually has a boost up to 2505, which means it would have a 30 megahertz overclock. Are you excited for this card at all? And do you think, again, do you think this card is like it's so weird to me that we have a TI before we have the regular card.
Right. Am I excited about it? Knowing what it's probably going to be priced at? Not really. But then again, I've also been looking at 4070 Ti's.
Yeah.
Like to purchase, right? When they first came out and I saw the price, I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm not buying one. And then here I am, like literally last night, or I think I looked both last night and today a little bit over lunch. I was like, maybe I do need one of these, because that's I think the level I would be at, as opposed to just a regular 4070.
Yeah. So,
but I guess I'll wait till it's out and we'll see performance wise, like what it's relative to and how it performs and what it's priced at.
For the 4070, the base frequency is 390 megahertz lower, and the boost frequency is 135 megahertz lower. For like a stock, for what stock, we expect the stock to be, and then you'll have some cards that are OC a little bit, like the colorful one that we're talking about. So, yeah, it's just I just hate that we have TI, we have non-TI card all launching at the same time. You don't know what to get, what's new, what's old. It's a little confusing. Talking about an old graphics card, so I saw this story and I was like, this is crazy. So, obviously, past couple years, we had a crypto mining boom, and everybody was buying cards, especially in China, to mine cryptocurrency. And then that kind of, obviously, the mining crypto market really died off, right? And but there's so many, especially AMD, like there's so many cards out there, and a ton of NVIDIA cards out there that crypto miners are selling, and a lot of them are trying to sell them as new, even though they've been crushed by mining cryptocurrency. And people put out a study. The guys over, I think this is I forget the name of the YouTubers who did this, but they found out that a lot of people are painting the memory chips on the cards. So you'll get like a yellow tint like this on the memory chips if they've been used quite a lot. So what they're doing is they're painting over them. You can kind of see it a little bit here. And you can see it on the GPU specifically. So this is a new GPU. This is one that they painted green, so you don't see the wear on the GPU itself. So what these miners are doing, especially on the memory, is they're painting over them, so you can't see the wear on the card. You know what I mean?
Kind of like refreshing, trying to refresh it so it doesn't look as
yeah. So it's happening a lot in China, where people are selling these.
Are most of these being sold without coolers? Right? Because if you're selling this to somebody like Joe Schmo just wants a cheap video card and they decide to buy from you, Joe Schmo is probably not going to take the cooler off and examine the ICs to determine how much they've been used. So this makes me think that they're selling them bare, right? Because did the miners put custom cooling on them?
Yeah, and they might be selling them like in lots too, possibly.
Right.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting that all this is kind of going on. I love these crypto stories are always really interesting to see kind of what people are doing. And now again, everybody's trying to get rid of these cards because it's not worth the money to do the mining, and they need to, they want to get rid of the hardware. So yeah, check out the video. We have it in the article if you want to check that out. But that is definitely interesting for sure. And then moving to what we talked about, AMD today announced pricing and when you can pick up the new Ryzen 7000X3D parts, which is something Ryan was definitely interested in, but he picked up the 5000 series X3D. But here we have the pricing. So at the top, we have the Ryzen 9 7950 X3D. That's of course 16 core, 32 thread. That is going to be $699. The Ryzen 9 7900 X3D going to be $599, and the 7800 X3D is going to be $449. So pricing is about $50 more expensive than the process or the non X3D part that it launched at. While the processors now might be a little bit cheaper, whatever their launch price was, these are about $50 more expensive. So, you know, for like the 7950X3D, it launched at, I believe, $649. So this is $699. You know what I mean? So yeah, and then the Ryzen 9 parts will be available on February 28th. So you can go to the store and pick them up on that day. And then you have the Ryzen 7 7800X3D, which will be available on April 6th. So pretty big timeline between availability of the Ryzen 9 and the Ryzen 7. Do you think because a lot of people are just going to pick up the Ryzen, like they want the Ryzen 7?
Right. They want the newest X3D part. So they want to sell as many of those Ryzen 9s as they can. Right.
Yeah.
Don't
you should see these be competitive with Intel's 13th gen processors. I'd love to see a head-to-head, you know, with the 13900K, 900KS, kind of going against these. Because again, with the 5000 series, that was the gaming processor to buy at the time when those launched, because again, that extra 3D V cache gave you, it was just like an instant boost in performance in games. And again, if you're a gamer, this is the processor that you should be considering if you want to go the AMD route, right? The X3D parts are really what you want, and they're going to give you a little bit boost in gaming. So it'll be interesting to see when these come out. Again, February 28th for the Ryzen 9 parts, and April 6th. That's such a long time between.
It is.
You know, you would think a couple weeks later. That's what I was thinking, but then I saw this and I was like, yeah, that's, you know, but again, they want to sell the Ryzen 9 parts. They're more expensive, obviously. Just let people wait for that 7800X3D to come out. So
gotta get that take advantage of that FOMO, right? Like people may want to buy that 7 part, but they realize the Ryzen 9 part's out. They can have it now. They'll do it.
Yeah. So, but I think that 7800X3D X670E motherboard is a great combo. And then, you know, we're going to be talking about it too. Gen5 storage on there. You know, they have a lot of stuff good to go there. So that'd be pretty exciting there as well. Talking about AMD, of course, the barrier to entry on a lot, especially high-end AMD systems, is the motherboards. They are expensive, especially X670E. We're going to be having an A620 chipset come out from AMD that will get you on the AM5 platform. But the X670, not X670E, so X670 non-E, B650, and A620 are all based on the same chip, right? The same chip. And then based on the chipset that it is, things get disabled in that chip, right? So the chip costs the same to make, right? It's going to be the same price to make for all these motherboards, which means even an A620 motherboard can be decently expensive for what it is. You know what I mean? So what AMD is doing is they have their Prom 21, which is again in X670, B650, and the initial A620 motherboards. They're going to be coming out with a Prom 22, which it's going to be only the features that are going to be in A620, right? So you don't have all the extra features on that chip. It's going to make it cheaper to manufacture. And we could see A620 motherboards being $125. That's like the old days, you know?
That's all, yeah, that's amazing.
You know, so if you are looking for, you know, a great entry point into AM5, you don't need all the features that X670 has. It looks like you will see an initial batch of A620s that are based on the Prom 21, but then a little bit later, you will see some that are based on Prom 22 and will be less expensive. So yeah, I like that. I think AMD is, again, trying to save people money and, of course, sell more motherboards, get more people on the platform. So I think that's a great way to do it because, again, motherboards over the past 3-4 years have
it's just gone up.
Yeah, very, very expensive. So, and again, using a different chip kind of makes sense here. So they're going to be doing that. So that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. I don't remember the last time I saw a decent $125 motherboard.
Right, $125 motherboard right now is like Oh, so it's a couple generations old, or it's like bare bones, right? Like OEM style, nothing board.
Yeah,
so
for
this would be cool.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about it. Techness Corner did say we did talk about it last week about the 7000X3D parts being unlocked. The 5800X3D was not unlocked, meaning that you couldn't really overclock it. So yeah, being able to overclock these is definitely something that's can even push them even further. And it's good to see. And I think that's, again, being the tinkerers that we are, we want to see what we can do with these processors. We put some good cooling on it if we want to push it. Yeah, so definitely excited to see those when they do come out. So yeah.
They said they had to head out, so thanks for hanging out, Techness Corner. Appreciate you coming in for the live chat.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate all you guys coming in here. We're here every Wednesday, typically 5:30 p.m. East Coast. What time? Or no, 5:30 p.m. 5:30 p.m. West Coast. See, I'm from the East Coast, and now I live on the West Coast. 5:30 p.m. on the West Coast. 7:30 p.m.
Central.
7:30 Central. 8:30 East Coast. I don't know how I messed that up.
Boy.
It's one of those days, man. It's one of those days for sure. But thanks. Yeah, definitely thanks for coming out. Moving over to storage, Corsair did accidentally put out a video on their new MP700, which is their PCI Express 5.0 solid state drive. They made the video private very quickly. But it's Gen 5 storage. It's Phison based. Ryan, how many of these did we see at CES with this almost exact same heatsink? We saw so many. This is basically the Phison reference board reference design with the active fan in the front. Corsair just appears to put, some of their logos on here and everything like that, but it's pretty much,
again, you've got that Dominator design from the side too, right? Their Dominator RAM has that like angled corners. They've done that here on the cooler as well.
Yeah. So this, and they put out this drive here, gonna do 10,000 megabytes a second read, and it looks like about 9,000 megabytes a second, right? So super fast drive. We expect them to announce this officially soon. But again, they accidentally put the video out there, which has been made private since then. So definitely expect that. But if you're looking for Gen 5 storage right now, you can actually buy one. You can buy, we've never heard of this company, which almost looks like the same drive. Because again,
that looks like drives we saw at CES, right? That looks more.
This is
more
the
stock.
This is the reference Phison design.
Yeah.
This is the CFD gaming Gen 5, same speeds, 10 gigabytes a second, 9.5 gigabytes a second, right on here. You can buy it in Japan for 49,980 yen, which is about $385 US, and that's for the 2 terabyte model. So not like crazy expensive, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, this is what the drive looks like. Again, very, very similar. The Corsair one just had Corsair logo here and a little bit different. Yeah. And their implementation of the fan was, this looks really bad with like the big screws.
Yeah,
you can see the cabling
not as clean
out. Yeah. But yeah, it's available to buy. Again, you'll see a lot of these launching. I think, again, for this first run, especially with the Phison based drives, you'll see this. This is going to be the stock reference design almost, for the most part. That's going to look very much like this. But yeah, $350 for was that 2 terabyte? Yeah, 2 terabyte. That's not bad. No. For 10,000 megabytes a second read. I definitely like that. And again, there's a lot of people sitting on Gen 5 motherboards right now. If you can't, they can't, they don't have a drive to put in there yet. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely nice that these are going to be coming out. Then expect, again, Corsair should be announcing that drive soon. We should have other drives being announced and being made available here pretty soon. So that is, I am, as I always say, a super fast storage guy. So I'm definitely excited for that for sure. Moving over to displays. Samsung announced their Odyssey Neo G7 43-inch. So this is actually their first flat, meaning that it's not curved, mini LED display. And Ryan and I have seen mini LED technology. It's really, really cool. It's really immersive. So this is a 43-inch 4K display. It looks, I mean, these are just pictures, but I mean, it looks like it's going to be a solid display. If you're not into the curve, you're not into the super ultra wide, this is going to be a really, really nice display, whether you're gaming, whether you're working, whatever it may be. I do think the stand is pretty interesting. Like, it's kind of...
It's a white back. Interesting.
White back with like this little stand here. And I assume this goes up and down, but it doesn't look like...
I don't know. Like,
yeah,
because that base, the base plate isn't very large. I don't know if it's going to have any height adjustment.
Yeah, it looks like there might be a button right here. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know. Then maybe that it goes up and down. But in any case, this is it's the Odyssey Neo G7 43-inch or the G70 NC. Do we have pricing on this thing? It's also... Go ahead.
It's got an Ethernet port on the back, doesn't it?
It does.
So that's kind of interesting, I thought.
Yeah, Ethernet port. I think that probably ties into the USB
connectivity.
Yeah, so you connect your USB,
so you can
you plug your computer into the Ethernet, possibly.
Yeah, or like if you had a laptop and you wanted to take advantage of like...
Yeah, or something.
I don't know.
Yeah, possibly that possibly could be why there's an Ethernet port there. 144 hertz refresh rate on this. So again, definitely pretty good for gaming. But yeah, again, these pictures definitely don't do mini LED stuff justice at all.
Right.
But it definitely, mini LED stuff is awesome. I'd like to see this one in person and play around with it for a little bit to get Ryan to play some games on it, like we did with all the other Samsung displays we saw at CES. But yeah, that's another new display from Samsung, of course.
I wish we would have seen this at CES, right?
Yeah, that would have been
like
nice
a month later, and
they were hiding it. They wanted all the attention on the super ultra wides. So
yeah.
So growing up and for years, I always look forward to E3. If you're a gamer, you look forward to E3, especially if you're like more console gaming than PC gaming, but just in general.
Right.
E3 was the event that everybody you watched all the press conferences, you saw the new game. I remember the one guy from Microsoft got like the Halo tattoo on him. It was just cool. It was like, I just remember E3 and you always wanted to go, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Growing up as a kid, you always wanted to go. You wanted to see all the cool stuff. It was just like E3 was kind of where it's at. And then obviously we had the pandemic and that shut down all live events, and there hasn't been an E3 for I think 4 years. So E3 is coming back, which is definitely exciting. But it looks like Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo won't be there. So is it really E3?
No, I mean, yes.
Those are the big press conferences you watched.
Right, because those are like you tune in for those press conferences, and then they're either announcing a new console or something, and then they usually bring up like multiple developers that have either got exclusives for them or something, and we're gonna show you this new game, and then I'm gonna invite out so and so for this new game. Like that's where you get these huge titles. Usually is at the Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo announcements, and like. Not happening this year, apparently.
Yeah. Now, I do feel that, and we saw this even in the PC hardware realm with companies having their own online event where they announce products. And we did see this with the absence of E3. We did see Xbox and Sony specifically have their own online event where it was all done virtually. And maybe they think that's the way going forward, right? That's where they want to announce their product. And E3 is a massively big event, just like CES is. A lot of things kind of get lost in the mix of all the news. Maybe have your event the week after, or have your event the next month, right? Where it is the headlines of everything that's out there because it's not filled with everything else that's happening at E3. But that's kind of I would say that's definitely a big blow to E3 because I mean, those are the big companies.
I was reading an article or kind of skimming through it, and like Microsoft's on the board for E3, like their leadership board, right? So they're definitely involved with how E3 is ran and things like that. So I don't see them like necessarily giving it up. And who knows, maybe we'll see another larger return to the actual show and a physical presence there next year. Kind of like we're hoping for CES next year as well, right? Get some more of those companies that didn't necessarily show up this year, get them to show up next year.
Yeah, definitely. So that was kind of I was really surprised when I read that story, but that is it for our news this week. We're going to be talking about what we have coming up next week. I'm back to reviewing cases. It's probably, well, it wouldn't be I would say motherboards are my favorite thing to review, but I'm taking a look at a case from Thermaltake, and their website is loading extreme. Oh, there it goes. Their H700TG, which is pretty affordable. I think it says 109 here, but I think it's 99 on Amazon right now. Pretty nice. And this is a snow edition of the case. It comes in black as well. Pretty simple design case, lots of room inside. Both side panels open with, well, this one has like a little hinge thingy on it. The other side has like that little piece of cloth that just opens. Doors open really easily. Tempered glass, as you can see. We have some RGB lighting in here. Supports EATX as well. It comes with a GPU support built in. A lot of features in this one. So I'm excited to tell you guys about that one. I'll also be taking a look at some. I wish I had it here. I'll show you next week because this is kind of special memory. So V-Color sent us over a kit of their Manta X Sky memory. We already reviewed their Manta, some other Manta memory, but this is their X Sky. And it's kind of hard to see in the picture, but this is like a chrome. So it's like a chrome heat spreader. But they asked us to send us over our logo, and they laser engraved our kit with the ThinkComputers logo. So, but these are super fast too. 6,600 megahertz on these DDR5. So I think that would be the fastest memory that we've ever tested so far. So definitely excited for that. So they sent us a 32 gigabyte kit over, and again, I'll show you the laser engrave. It looks pretty cool. So we'll have that for you. And then Ryan has a pretty cool storage device. If you're into security, he has it right there. Hold on, let's bring it
right here. But there we go.
There it is.
Yeah, so the Iron Key keypad 200 here. Nice little. Oops, I'll flip that over. So, yeah, so nice secure USB drive. If I could get it to focus, there we go.
There it is.
Yeah, built-in encryption, options. It's part of Kingston's Iron Key lineup of secure drives. If you need something more than just a standard USB drive, right? You can get that hardware encryption here. And nice thing about it is you got a little pin pad on the side to gain access to your drive. So
put in your password.
Put in your secret code.
Yeah, Kingston bought Iron Key a few years ago, I think. So this is part of that lineup, and I'm sure like it's a lot more. I'm sure you use these type of devices at work, but for anybody in general who's carrying, like, even if it's like your taxes, like, your tax files or something that has like, I have like
even just pictures.
Yeah, like I have a copy of my ID, like, because sometimes if you lose it, you need the number, or like, any of that stuff, like. That stuff can, you drop a flash drive or somebody snags your laptop bag while you're at the coffee. Like, any of those things can happen. I mean, that's sensitive data. So you want it in an encrypted hard drive where somebody gets this, they plug it in, nothing happens. And they're not going to figure out the code, obviously. So it's nice to have that. So Ryan will have that for you next week as well. We come to the end here. We talk about tech. We talk about we watched anything, did anything on your side of things?
No, don't think so. Other than like considering buying that Android version of the
and the 4070 Ti.
Yeah. I got onto like Micro Center because I may have to go up to the Kansas City area for work, and I was like, there's a Micro Center up there. Maybe I should just stop in.
It's always fun. Go ahead.
They have like the Zotac card, just like the base card 4070 Ti for MSRP, right? And then you can go up $50 and get a little better Zotac card, and then you know that $50 price premium and up, then you get some other AIBs in there. But I mean, I'm not against buying that $800 Zotac card by any means, right? I'll overclock it myself and save some money and be happy. But then I get to thinking like, then I got to redo my loop again because I'm fully water cooled. And then
you got to get a new water block and
right. So it's all of that. So yep.
It's always fun making the trek to Micro Center. So if you're somewhere where I lived when I lived in Pittsburgh, I had to drive 3.5 hours to Micro Center. So that was like a whole day trip, right? You're going up there. Maybe you're picking up some stuff. A lot of times, especially when there's like new CPU launches that you know are going to sell out, Micro Center, you could reserve one. You just had to go pick it up. Or there's a lot of times they have really good sales, but you have to get it in person. They will not ship it to you. Right. I think here I don't think there's one in San Diego. I think the one I'd have to go up to LA area for Micro Center. So, but it's always fun. It's like a fun little thing, you know. Micro Center is a really cool place if you've never been either. Right. So, but for me, no, I just worked on reviews. I cleaned this table. It doesn't look like it's clean because there's like a ton of stuff on that table, but I cleaned the table behind me a little bit because that is my old desk. And it's set up for the test systems and everything like that. But I need to wire the desk up, like put the power, like mount the power cables under it and do all that kind of stuff to it. And I want to light it up so that we'll have even more RGB in the background of this shot. So I haven't done that yet, but I've been slowly cleaning it and getting things done. But beyond that, just working on reviews for you guys. So yeah, so I think we're going to be jumping over to Twitch. Ryan we'll have that stream up. Hopefully he plays good tonight. We'll see.
I've been playing. The season's about to end. I think we have like a week and a half left on this season. Yeah, and I realized I'm getting close to hitting level 100 on the battle pass.
Oh, nice.
So I played a little bit the other night, and always in that solo queue, I always just like wreck people, you know, and then we get teamed up together, and just
maybe it's just bad. We're just bad teammates. Maybe that's.
I don't know. I think I'm just getting into easier lobbies solo.
Yeah, yeah. So we will be over there, twitch.tv/ThinkComputers. If you want to head over there, Ryan will have that stream up. Shinny says, Bob just jinxed us. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. So Shinny will have his stream up as well. That's who we play with in our little. What do you call that? Like our group or our team? I guess it's our team because it's like a team of 3 people. Yeah. But we will have our stream up, twitch.tv/ThinkComputers, and then Shinny has his up as well. He's on YouTube. He streams on YouTube. So if you want to look him up, you can go ahead and do that as well. Thanks everybody for coming out for the episode. We definitely appreciate that. All the new people we had. Technus Corner in here. We had Seb Luca in here. Obviously, Shinny was here as well. So we definitely appreciate everybody in the live stream. And of course, everybody that listens later. And we'll see everybody